Hey everybody, Father Scott Vanderveer here with some thinking today about the green monster. We're talking today about envy and its cousin, jealousy. And it's always represented by the color green because the feeling is so sickening. It's such a horrible feeling to believe that something you have and cherish could be taken from you, or to see something that someone else has and feel consumed by wanting it yourself. It can be difficult for us to admit that we're dealing with jealousy or envy. Perhaps jealousy even more than envy, because it's at the root of what makes us fragile. It's related completely to our vulnerability. When our best friend makes a new friend at work and we feel threatened that they now like that person better than us, we're experiencing jealousy, the feeling that we could lose a status or a possession or a relationship that we have. If a new go-getter comes into the office and we're afraid that that person is going to take aim at our job and they're going to convince our boss that we ought to be demoted and they ought to be promoted into our role. That's jealousy. It's rooted in fear and it's deeply vulnerable. The other, envy, its cousin, is looking at what someone has and thinking, I want that. That's the feeling we have when something good happens to somebody, maybe even somebody we really care about, and we're secretly not happy about it. Isn't that an awkward thing to admit? That sometimes we're not happy for other people's success? And we're not happy because somehow it threatens our sense of self. We feel less valuable if someone else gets something that really we feel ought to be ours. Maybe ours alone, or at least ours too. One of the things that's fueling jealousy in our world is a desire to be special. Jealousy sometimes causes us to feel like we ought to be the most important person in everyone's life. We ought to be the most listened to person in a workplace. We ought to be the most sought after person in a friend group. And envy says, I want what the people I most admire have. I want the things that make others feel envious. I'd like others to be envious of me, not me envious of others. There's an old English proverb that says, envy shoots at others and wounds itself. Ugh. Shooting at others and getting wounded yourself. That's envy in a nutshell. So we have to acknowledge that there is this sense in our society of everyone wanting to be special that is fueling so much envy and jealousy. Now, we should start by saying that not everybody is afflicted by this equally, although it is a human experience and all of us know what jealousy feels like and all of us know what envy feels like. Just like any other virtue-vice combination, it's likely that you may not be one of the people who is most afflicted by this. You may have a sibling or a loved one in your family who you know is afflicted by jealousy or is ruled by envy, and that's not you, and that's fair. But all of us wish to be special, wish to be noticed, maybe not put into the center of attention or the limelight, but wish to be important. And it feels like that's growing in our society. In the year 1950, the Gallup organization undertook a poll of high school seniors and asked, do you find yourself to be a very important person? 12% of people said yes. 12% of high school seniors in 1950, which means these are people who were born during the Great Depression, all those high school seniors who were born in 1932-ish, they said no. As a matter of fact, 88% said, I'm not a very important person. I'm just reasonably important. I'm an average person, or I'm important but not very important, perhaps. By the year 2005, the same question was asked by the Gallup organization to high school seniors that year. 55 years later, 80% said, I'm a very important person. Now, maybe that means that some of the work that we've done to try to help our children appreciate their gifts and know that they're singular and know that they have something to offer and know that no bully can take that away from them. Perhaps our efforts are bearing fruit, and that's good news. But you can hear the bad news there. How can everybody be a very important person? How can it be that we recognize that we are all infinitely important to God, but pretty average in society, meant to be part of a community, a member of a family, and not the center of everything? These are deep questions for us to consider, because I think there's a word that is underutilized in our world, and perhaps reclaiming this word would be helpful. And that is the word singular. So many people want to be special, and special means different and better than others. So many people are looking for that feeling of specialness, and it's understandable. We can understand why we would want that. But how interesting that's a zero-sum game. For others to be special means I can't be special, because different and better can't coincide well with everyone being important. Different and better means some are special and some are not. So we've given kids buttons to wear and posters for their room and t-shirts that say something that's beautiful. I'm special. Do you suppose it would be more helpful if instead of I'm special, we said I'm singular? I'm unlike anyone else. I'm unrepeated. I am an original. I am the only one of my kind. I'm just like everybody else, but my particular variety is unique. Singular contains a lot of potential. It has a one-of-a-kind, kind of like never repeatable sense to it, which makes us automatically valuable without necessarily needing to be different and better than other people. It takes comparison out of it a bit. If we are singular, we don't have to be defined in any way by somebody else. It's not about anybody else. It's about us alone. Singular. Interesting thought. Is there a chance for us to imagine that understanding that we are made in the image and likeness of God in a way that no one else ever will be ever again, and that everyone else is made in the image and likeness of God in a way that no one else ever could be ever again, can that create for us a sense of, I matter, but I'm not special. I'm not different and better than everybody else, but I matter, and I'm unrepeatable. If that's the case, then perhaps there's less need to worry that I don't have what someone else has, because they have something tailor-made for them. And the feeling of I could lose this thing or relationship of value, perhaps we realize, well, I'm not defined by that, so losing it would be something I could imagine surviving, since it wouldn't be losing myself. Suddenly now we can imagine that old adage of, if you love something, let it go. And if it stays or comes back, you know it's meant to be. What a sense of security to have, to be able to say, that's fine with me. That's okay. I can handle that. because I'm unrepeatable. I matter. And I'm not that special. A lot of thoughts going in every direction. But a lot of pain has been experienced in human lives because of these things. So let's give some more thought to it. And let's try to work to alleviate some of the suffering we have from the green monsters. May God bless you and all those you love now and forever.